Lae City Council on cost-cutting push.
Try to fix all these issues.
University of Goroka signs on Wabag campus. And farewell, Jamie Maxton-Graham.
This is National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Monday's news. Lae City Council is yet to act upon a requirement of the 2017 audit report to sack over 300 staff as a cost-cutting exercise. According to Lae MP John Rosso, their salaries amount to over 4 million kina, despite the little input they have in the City Council. Rosso says this is just one of many issues that the Council needs to look into.
The support of the Morobe Provincial Administration to help.
Lae MP John Rosso is calling on the Morobe Provincial Government to assist in fixing issues within the Lae City Council. Issues that urgently need looking into are the absence of a city manager, as well as the non-compliance of the council to sack staff as a cost-cutting exercise. Rosso said these issues remain because there is no good working relationship between the district and the provincial government.
There's a lot of things that we can do, but the Morobe Provincial Administration, which is the mother of the Lae City Council, is not cooperating with me to try to fix all these issues. It is a hindrance.
In 2017, Rosso directed an audit of the council's accounts after receiving complaints from the public of mismanagement within the City Council. The report stated that over 300 people needed to be sacked to save costs. To this date, nothing has been done.
I have no power to sack them. I have asked the administration to do their jobs and make sure these people get sacked. Officers within the administration are not cooperating with my directions or to help me fix the problem.
The absence of a city manager is also causing problems of its own. Last month, Lae Ward 6 Councillor Peter Wagu said he was among others who are yet to submit their budgets for next year because there is no city manager. Charlene Airy, National MTV News, Lae.
The ban on the sale and consumption of fish in Madang is affecting many islanders. Today, they expressed their concerns to MTV News. Speaking on their behalf, Matthew Salong said all 6 MPs of Madang need to work together to find a solution to the Basamuk spill. Salong said the ban has affected their source of income and it's about time all MPs work together to find an amicable solution.
This group of islanders has been struggling to make ends meet since the ban on the sale and consumption of fish came into effect in September by the Madang provincial government. They say they were not aware of the spill incident and were not prepared for the ban when it was imposed. It has been a struggle to provide food and generate revenue whilst providing other needs for their families each day.
But me ask him now, Madang government, 6 plus districts plus Governor Blong Madang, long come forward, na talking people Blong, Aitepe, na all Madang Liglik Island also come na use him this la business house lo kisim kai blow you for the period of time which is not measured. Now it's already has been 3 months. Now study by go yet. Now when is the period of time with deadline? That's why me talk also. Firstly, me talk also. Suppose government no na blow looks have a good blow me plan. Then lari me blow kisim fish na kai na indai.
Laksi Kambai depends on the sale of fish to provide for a family. She says they are now selling coconuts to generate money to sustain themselves. Previously, she would make an average of 1,000 kina each day. This would cater for food, boat fares, school fees and other needs. But since the ban was imposed in September, they are struggling to meet their family's needs.
Time slabian and come up with affected. plagatol pigini go school, mi plagatol sit pigini start. Mi played la house or mi play lookout team house or kasi kay la house. So mi play mama tu mi play sa lookout team income long. When I work mi play working office. So time mi play sa gobe gigat money mi play working market na mi play sim gobe mi play sa housing lo health na school. Now over the pigini blum play all affected.
This is the Madang town fish market. Since the ban was imposed 2 months ago, there has not been any activity here. Fishermen and women who use this venue to sell their catch are now trying other options to sustain themselves until such time the ban is lifted. The islanders are asking all elected leaders of Madang province to work together in the interest of their people.
So now me like sawe lo MPs blow me pla want them governor blow me pla only stop way now. Now me pla people, especially me pla light up or ali fishermen me pla stop lo ya. Me pla usait igroim fish inside lo Madang.
Mathaluis, National MTV News, Madang.
The Eastern Britain provincial government has admitted that it hasn't done much to maintain roads in the province due to financial constraints. Governor Nakikus Konga says his provincial government is aware of the worsening road conditions and is seeking other alternatives. Konga says the provincial government will partner with Zen New Guinea, a Malaysian oil palm developer that is managing huge portions of oil palm plantations within the Binding area. He says the oil palm developer will be filling in voids that are being left unattended to by the provincial government. These include building roads into inaccessible regions. The governor says Zen New Guinea has shown positive results in delivering road infrastructure, something that successive governments have failed to do. Konga's comments come following numerous backlash from the public who are blaming the provincial government for failing to deliver road infrastructure to the people of Eastern Britain Province. National MTV News will continue with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. Over 50,000 people from the Community Mine Continuation Agreement or CMCA villages in Western Province have undergone NID registration. There are currently 2 NID registration teams in the province, one covering land-based villages and the other covering river-based villages. The NID and birth certificate registration began in July 2018 after an MOU was signed between Oktedi Mining Limited and the PNG Civil and Identity Registry. This registration project will cover 158 CMCA villages in the 8 CMCA regions, which are North Oktedi, Lower Oktedi, Highway Middle Fly, Suki Fly, Gogo, Manawete, Kiwaba, Dudi and Mine villages. The team is currently doing registration in Kaviananga village in the Middle Fly district and should cover the whole of the region by December the 14th. The Native Arts and Fashion Academy will be hosting the NAFA Night 2019 at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex on the 30th of this month. The event is aimed at promoting Papua New Guinean art, culture and tradition. They will also release a documentary on PNG culture series in the Southern Highlands province.
Thank you very much. Just that introduction.
The NAFA Night is expected to have a series of events and shows, from fashion shows, dances, music and a lot of other entertainment throughout the night. They will also release a 90-minute documentary that was sponsored by Big Rooster and coordinated by Kina Culture Group. Computing and Communications Institute of PNG General Manager Sivalinga Prasad says, in the changing era, most children don't even understand or know their native languages. Mr. Prasad says this documentary will really give an insight to understanding one particular culture, and that is the Southern Highlands culture.
And we can witness a lot of such activities where Papua New Guinean talent comes up. Okay, we have tried to make it 100% PNG authentic activity. That means from the entry into the auditorium at John Guy's Indoor Complex to all the programs, it's going to be completely made by Papua New Guineans. Okay, completely involved by Papua New Guinean youngsters.
Chairman of the Kina Culture Group, Yakepua, thanked Big Rooster Group and the Native Art and Fashion Academy with the Computing and Communications Institute for capturing an event based on cultures and traditions.
Korea, we trade kina, toya, these things as products, people together, we make peace. And these are some of the things that some people think these Tubuna stories are mad. Some people call us madmen, always thinking of old things. But those are the things that I know and I have to tell to those new generations. This story has to be put in record. And thanks for Kina Mam Big Rooster team for documenting our culture.
Managing Director of Native Art and Fashion Academy, Pritha Pasad says the academy teaches art, culture, fashion, music, dance and martial arts. A sponsor of the event and general manager of Hannah's Beauty Box, Ann Nawara, says it is evident that cultures and traditions are slowly fading, but events like this help keep it alive.
And that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to support what they are standing for. So at the background, where they need support, I hope other Papua New Guinea can step in and support as well, so that we all travel the journey, but let's not forget where we come from.
Michelle Stephen, National MTV News.
The Murray Barracks SDA Church Choir will be attending the Provincial Youth Rally in Rakamanda in Enga Province. While attending the youth rally, they will also be building a classroom which was raised in a tribal fight.
The choir will be rebuilding the Adventist primary classroom in Rakamanda after it was burnt down during a tribal fight. Some members of the choir are children of pioneers of the Rakamanda SDA mission, and in honoring the work of the missionaries, they will be rebuilding the classroom.
When I shared the ideas to Murray Barracks Church that if we can go up there, our church pastor said, he didn't tell me, but he did tell the church that he said, if we just go up there and sing, it won't be good. Can we go and build a classroom as well?
And in remembering the work of these pioneer missionaries, the choir will rebuild that classroom at Rakamanda.
The choir has more than 70 members with many church youths in the group. It is anticipated almost 10,000 people will be attending the youth rally in Enga.
To support the youth rally up there, and we had only less than 6 months to prepare ourselves to get up there. How to look for the money is an issue.
Since receiving the invite in July, they began fundraising to attend the youth rally. The fundraising started with selling dishes of food for 100 kina. They then went on to organize their second fundraising event, which was an open concert.
The dinner for tonight is the final one. This dinner will determine whether we are going to Rakamanda or not.
The fundraising dinner held over the weekend will go towards rebuilding the classroom and for travel expenses. The Youth Expo will be held from the 1st to the 7th of December in Rakamanda, Enga Province. Elijah Levet, National MTV News.
This is Monday's news. Among stories after the break, the outbreak of measles in Samoa, which has left 11 dead. Stay tuned for the details. Welcome back to National MTV News. Turning overseas now, Samoa's escalating measles crisis has triggered an increased support from New Zealand. At least 11 people are dead and the nation is in virtual lockdown under a state of emergency. Vaccinations are now compulsory, all schools are closed, and the movement of young people has been restricted.
When One News visited grieving mum for Otuevale a week ago, she'd just buried 2 of her children with suspected measles. Her surviving 1-year-old twin was seriously ill, and yesterday this little girl lost her battle. 3 siblings now dead.
We miss them so much, but our faith in God will guide us through this.
The government held another emergency meeting on Friday night after being briefed on the epidemic's alarming spread. And the strongest of orders made law. Everyone is to be vaccinated. The Ministry of Health is mobilising for a mass vaccination schedule.
So the concern now is we look forward. For us, we really need to have that measles coverage improve, because this may not be the only outbreak.
New Zealand is sending 3,000 vaccines and 30 immunisation nurses over the next month, and a medical assistance team of 10 doctors, nurses and support staff leaves tomorrow.
Well, getting all the spare medical and human utilities ready for the compulsory vaccination program that they're going to start running in Samoa, and to help out as much as we possibly can.
As part of the state of emergency, all schools, including high schools, have been forced to shut down and exams postponed. Any children under the age of 17 are banned from public gatherings, and unless they're sick, no one under 18 is allowed at any medical facility.
It's clear that there's a lot of measles in the community now, but you would expect that these measures might have an effect and maybe save some lives, but obviously they're very, very dramatic.
The Mormon Church cancelled all its services yesterday, impacting thousands, to help prevent any spread. No one is kidding themselves that this is going to get better anytime soon.
A PR disaster, excruciating, and a train wreck. Just some of the labels applied to Prince Andrew's interview about his links to Jeffrey Epstein. It was designed to end speculation over the prince's role in the scandal, but it's done the opposite.
Your Royal Highness, we've come to Buckingham Palace in...
The interview has been heard. Andrew's answers have been noted, with incredulity in some quarters, and one suspects with something close to despair within the royal household. The reaction to his words in most cases has been negative. The consensus, in PR terms, the interview was extremely ill-advised. Andrew was categoric about his denial of sexual impropriety with the then 17-year-old Virginia Roberts. She's claimed that on the night of their alleged first encounter, in March 2001, she was introduced to him at Tramp, the nightclub in central London. She says they danced together there. But Andrew is emphatic that he was at home. He says he'd taken his daughter Beatrice to this pizza restaurant in Woking in Surrey in the late afternoon. But how had he managed to remember a specific day so many years ago?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. As soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that.
In the United States, where Jeffrey Epstein lived, surrounded by all accounts by a number of very young women, lawyers are now pursuing legal actions on behalf of those who say they were trafficked by him to perform sexual favours. They say Andrew should now repeat his testimony under oath.
Whether a person is a prince or a pauper, if anyone has evidence or information that might be relevant to an investigation of a criminal case, that person should provide it.
From those who've worked with Andrew in the past, there's sympathy for palace officials.
They will be wondering who made the decision to put him on. Did he make it himself, or did he seek advice within the palace? My guess is that he bulldozed his way in and decided that he was going to do it himself without any advice.
I'm truly grateful for the opportunity.
It was supposed to be the interview which drew a line under the story for Andrew and allowed him to move on. That moment is certainly some way off.
Protesters and police continue to be locked in a standoff at the Polytechnic University of Hong Kong as riot police use tear gas rounds that have forced protesters to retreat back into campus grounds. Hong Kong police laid siege to protesters who were holed up at the university, firing water cannons at pro-democracy activists who were garrisoned inside.
Roads in the university have been strewn with bricks and barricaded by protesters after a night of mayhem that saw at least 38 people injured. In the overnight clash on Sunday, police fired volleys of tear gas and rubber bullets to force back dozens of protesters who tried to escape the besieged campus. Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne saying she is concerned by the rise in violence in Hong Kong before reiterating a call for peaceful protest and proportionate responses.
Australia and Hong Kong have a very special relationship. It is possibly our largest single diaspora location of Australians in Hong Kong, and obviously out of concern for their safety and security, but also out of concern for the unique nature of Hong Kong that makes it what it is.
Hong Kong has seen a dramatic escalation of the unrest that plunged the Asian financial hub into chaos for almost 6 months. China lodged a formal protest in October after Payne said Canberra would hold Beijing to account for its human rights record.
One country, two systems approach. The preservation of that and the protection of individuals' safety and the protection of people's basic rights is also very important to us.
Demonstrators who are angry at what they see as Chinese meddling in the former British colony have said they are responding to excessive use of force by police. China has been widely condemned for setting up complexes in remote Zhejiang province, which it describes as vocational training centers intended to stamp out extremism and teach new skills.
That is arbitrary detention. There are other restrictive measures in place. We very much seek the Chinese government's amelioration of these circumstances. They are not observant of appropriate human rights requirements.
A temporary suspension of force from the police has been negotiated in a statement by the university head as protesters gradually attempt to leave the site. Helen Sea, MTV's World News.
Back home now, and Tango Group of Companies today opened the third supermarket with an official ribbon-cutting ceremony by NCD Governor Paul Sparkop and company founder Nellie Tan. Godwin Eki reports.
The new Tango shopping mall worth around 20 million kina saw Tokoroa residents, friends and families of the owners, as well as special guest NCD Governor Paul Sparkop, attend the opening ceremony. Dancers from the autonomous region of Bougainville got the event started. General Manager for Tango Group of Companies, Colin Spencer, says the construction of the building took 2 years by a Chinese company who built it according to Australian building standards. The building is the first to be commissioned to have 1/3 of it covered by 735 solar panels and using LED lights to cut down on the use of electricity. The shop comes with a variety of department stores, has a fast food and bakery outlet, freezer goods section, groceries, clothing and others.
It's one of the, I'm proud to brag that I think that we've got one of the best, if not the best retail stores in Papua New Guinea. We've decided that we want to make the shopping experience for the customer a friendly, fun experience. So everything's nice and bright, easy to get to, easily identifiable. So yeah, we think we're a #1 store now.
Spencer says what's most important is providing jobs for residents in Tokoroa, as well as making shopping convenient and accessible.
In the local area, nearly 300 jobs. Overall, Tango now employs nearly 700 local staff. And this is a big thing for the Tokoroa community. 95% of the staff are actual locals living around the Tokoroa area itself. So many of the locals couldn't wait for the store to be open because they all knew the founder, Nellie Tan, and they were glad to see her come back to Tokoroa.
The shop is a third addition to the one in Goroka and the other on the island of Daru in Western Province.
Tokoroa was my first home in PNG 38 years ago. This is where my children grew up riding bicycles in the shop fronts and fishing in the drain at the back. Back in the day, we lived above our small supermarket and department store founding known as TST Tokoroa. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to my Tango team who have worked tirelessly day and night to make this event come together to become a success. Without your contribution, we could not have achieved this much.
November, yes. Tango is now open.
NCD Governor Powis Pakop congratulated and thanked the Tan family for their contribution to business developments in PNG. Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
Police Minister Brian Kramer and Civil Aviation Minister Lae City and other dignitaries joined family and friends of the late Jamie Maxton-Graham to celebrate his life today. The former parliamentarian held senior positions in government before becoming member for Anglim South Wagi in 2007. He passed away on Sunday, November the 10th, just months after celebrating his 60th birthday in July. He was described by a childhood friend and former Secretary for National Planning, Valentine Kambori, as someone who was fearless in pursuit of his dreams. Many will remember him as a health guru and a champion of clean energy, but to his children, he was simply Dad.
His casket was carried into the St. Joseph's Catholic Parish Church by his sons, amidst friends, family, relatives and delegates who came to pay their respects. Followed by an emotional eulogy by his eldest son, highlighting fond memories of his dad.
George's political career and business life, he was always the public eye, but to me, my dad was a simple, humble, easygoing person.
Born to a pioneer coffee plantation manager, he was raised and looked after by a Gulf family in Madang, and a few years after his university studies entered the political limelight in the late 90s, early 2000s. Buddies from high school described him as the tall, lanky, mixed-race boy who fought tooth and nail while playing rugby.
And we started being friends, and the friendship started from there because I shared with him. He was a tall, lanky boy, and he attracted a lot of attention. And me passing target on them, so when it came to the rough and tumble of the boys, I stood with him. He was taller than me.
His fondness was shared by current MPs who connected with him over a game of footy or during family gatherings. In politics, he was described as a compassionate man whose interest was not for power but better life for others.
We used to play touch and meet each other on the field, and then we became friends and started to talk about politics.
My association with the late Jamie goes back to the time when Pius Wiki was the Prime Minister.
His voice as a strong advocate towards health and wellness lifestyle was prominent to his last day.
Hey, no fuel costs. More money in the owner's pocket.
In his last interview with MTV, Mr. Maxton-Graham spoke very chastely of his newfound passion, and that was to have government look into green initiatives on solar technology that could help rural people and reduce impacts of climate change. His fight to combat lifestyle diseases lives on through his children and grandchildren, who are living proof of his healthy regime and continue to advocate for healthy life choices for a better PNG. Anet Kora, National MTV News.
Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas is calling on the national government to include higher institutions in Enga province in the national budget. Sir Peter is frustrated that the national government has failed to include Enga Teachers College and Enga College of Nursing in their annual budget.
Sir Peter says since Enga Teachers College and Enga College of Nursing are not reflected in the national government's yearly budget, his provincial government is spending money on students that are from other provinces studying in the two institutions. He said EPG has started from scratch by building the two institutions and introducing diploma in primary teaching and nursing. Now that the University of Goroka has partnered with EPG to offer Bachelors of Science education in Wabag. Sir Peter is calling on the government to put resources where the mouth is.
The national government must now see that this is a national project and that they have to make sure that it's reflected properly in the budget. Because over the years, if you look at the budget, Enga Teachers College is not reflected properly. Enga College of Nursing is not reflected. So the Enga provincial government is spending money on kids that come from other provinces, you know. So this is unfair to the people of
EPG under Governor Ipata's leadership has been spending resources to make Enga an education and health hub of the country, which Ipata say they're helping the national government achieve their agendas of development. So far, Enga provincial government has invested well over 350 million kina in education for the last 22 years since Ipatas was first elected as Enga governor in 1997. He said education is not like infrastructure that can be seen to believe, but this is his vision to alleviate poverty and make sure Enga is sustainable after Porgera gold mine.
Our vision is to look at Enga being a province on its own, able to sustain itself after Porgera. So that's a challenge. And if I wasn't thinking in that direction, there's a lot of easier things to do as a politician, to please the people and get it re-elected.
Sir Peter Ipatas is also calling on the national government not to introduce such partnership in other provinces, stating it is their concept and vision to be a model province in terms of education in the country.
In our pursuit to making Enga become an education hub, we are spending our resource that could have gone to other things, trying to address a national agenda. So that's the call that I've made to the nation.
Starting next year, UOG will offer its science program at its Wabag campus. In 2021, all diplomas in primary education at Enga Teachers College will be upgraded to degree courses as well as nursing courses at Enga College of Nursing. Vasinat Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
This is National MTV News. We go for another break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Ase Boss, the former captain of the SP PNG Hunters and former Kumul's 5'8", is keeping fit over the course of the pre-season in anticipation of the Hunters pre-season camp. Ase is determined to bounce back from a challenging year in and outside of rugby league, which caused him to miss out on representative football.
Just before going over to watch his younger brother in the historical win by the Kumuls against the touring British Lions on Saturday, former Kumuls 5'8" Ase Boas was taking part in the brothers' 45th anniversary Rugby Union Sevens competition in Port Moresby. He was playing for the Royals Rugby Union team.
Yeah, I've been playing dual rugby league and rugby union for some times, and the off season I try to go around and involve with the tournaments, rugby union. So yeah, it's the first time I've been playing union ever since. So most of the pre-season we go and I continue to keep fit with playing union.
Ase had a pretty rough season this year after things didn't work out in England. He returned to the Hunters, but the team performed poorly and he didn't make the Kumuls. But he was proud of his younger sibling, Watson Boas, who played a key role in the Kumuls' win against the Great Britain Lions. Ase says Watson has matured a lot in his game. Ase sees that he and current 5'8", Kyle Labert, have built a strong combination.
Yeah, I think it's not my good year this year. Me go through a lot with family and with my form and stuff. But yeah, with missing out, it doesn't worry me too much because it's a learning process for me and to build myself to be better in the next year to come. But yeah, with the current team now, they're a young team and they're doing well, and with the new halves pairing up with Labot and Watson. Yeah, Watson has been under my leadership for some times, and for me to step out and giving the opportunity to lead and partner with Labot, I see him being mature a lot, and yeah, he's gonna go a step further.
Ase has been keeping fit, playing rugby union and doing personal training, but he is far from retiring from rugby league. With the former Hunters captain looking forward to the SPPNG Hunters pre-season.
I'm not that retired. I'm still gonna play next year. Just not my best year this year because of some situation. But yeah, I'm back to my feet and keep my personal training and try to keep fit before the pre-season end of this month with the Hunters, and looking forward for a bigger and better year next year, 2020.
Fidelis Sukina, National MTV Sports.
There are more sevens tournaments to look forward to before the end of this year. The NCD Rugby Union sanctioned Rookie Sevens will be held next month, while this weekend a village in Western Province will host their first ever sevens tournament.
The tournament will be held in Sewiri Mabu village in the Western Province. This is the first time a village will be hosting a sevens tournament. The 3 Daro teams that participated in the Kramer Senko Brothers tournament over the weekend will be attending the competition as favourites.
There's some unknowns there, a lot of village teams. I think at the last count we got about 32 teams. It's a big challenge. The chairman, Napoleon Mapo, is get at his village people and everyone, the LLGs, even the Western provincial government is involved as well. So it's a big thing. Everyone back home are looking forward to that.
The development of sevens in the country has seen many young players move up the ranks, playing in higher divisions. This is through the Rookie Sevens tournament and other sevens competitions that these players participate in.
It's just awesome to see the younger ones coming through, and that's the only way we can develop. In the absence of not having a schools rugby here, especially in Mosby. But you see Morobe, you can see their players, they're a lot more, they know the rules. Technically, they're right up there. And they're learning that at a young age. Just imagine when they get into their, peak.
They've hosted 3 weekends of sevens competitions in Port Moresby, with a lot of new talent being discovered. Men's sevens coach Frank Gabi Jr. has been attending these tournaments, scouting young players taking part in the different competitions.
So if we can get a good sponsor coming for our men's team, and with what we are doing at the provincial level, those next group of players coming in could be more or less ready for it. Instead of just getting unknowns and trying to teach them, it's pretty hard. As the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Elijah Lovett, National MTV Sports.
Don't go away, we'll have more of Trukai Sports right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To some basketball abroad, and there's been a major development from the New Zealand Breakers as the fallout continues from the arrest of controversial recruit Glenn Rice Jr. In the last hour, the 28-year-old has been suspended indefinitely by the club just 2 days after they refused to stand him down following an incident at an Auckland bar.
Arriving back in Auckland this morning, Glenn Rice Jr. was ready to reveal what unfolded when he was arrested outside an Auckland nightclub at 4:15 on Thursday morning.
I went and tried to grab something to eat, and it was the incident, but I can't say much before the court date.
After arriving in the country just a week before the incident, he felt he was still feeling the effects of jet lag and couldn't sleep. So he left his apartment on the North Shore for some food, but he says he wasn't drunk.
You weren't drunk, or you were drinking? No, I wasn't drunk.
Had you had any drinks?
No, not really.
But you had a couple?
Not really.
He entered the bar on Fort Lane to get some Wi-Fi so he could get home. Did you drink inside that bar?
Inside there, I wasn't
don't believe so.
That's where the incident happened. Today, Rice Jr. still had the remnants of a bruised lip suffered from the altercation, although he said it had been aggravated during training a couple of days ago. The Breakers only signed Rice just 2 weeks ago, knowing full well he came with a checkered history off the court, with incidents including assaulting a teammate, discharging a firearm and driving under the influence.
Part of his deal here was he was going to have to live with the staff member of the Breakers, no car, he was going to have to be checked in on repeatedly.
But that wasn't enough, and despite the arrest, the club still wanted him to play in Perth last night. The NBL were forced to step in at the last minute, forcing the Breakers to stand down the American just a couple of hours before their 88-77 loss to the Wildcats. Today, the Breakers suspended him indefinitely, not before Rice Jr. pleaded for forgiveness.
I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. At this point, I mean, obviously it was an incident, but these are great people. I just want to try to make amends with it and try to move on and try to help them as much as I can, the same way that they had helped me.
And that is True Guy Sports for this evening. Up next, we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
True Guy Sports. True Guy Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. We begin in the southern region as always. Thundery showers expected in Port Moresby, Alotau and Popondetta. Some showers over the next 24 hours as well for Daru and Kerama. To the Momasa region, thundery showers expected in Lae and Vanimo, rain and thunderstorms over the next 24 hours for Wau. Some showers and a top of 29 degrees for Madang and Wabag. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers expected all across the region in Lorangau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and thundery rain over the next 24 hours for Buka. And in the Highlands region, thundery showers are expected over the next 24 hours in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabag can all expect rain and morning fog developing.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Before we go, the University of Goroka recently signed a memorandum of agreement to deliver Bachelor of Science related disciplines at the Enga Teachers College. This is intended to help the national government fulfill its policy of developing human resource. Starting next year, the first lot of students who choose to study Bachelor in Science Education will be studying at the UOG campus in Wabag.
The understanding is that anything to do with academics, student selections, examinations and staff appointments will be done by the University Council. Decisions on funding, infrastructure development, security and Board of Staff appointments are the responsibility of Enga Provincial Government. Both state institutions are collaborated to achieve a milestone in delivering quality programs. These are physics, biology, chemistry, including math and English.
Given in a higher dose in English language, so that we can produce teachers who are qualified to teach.
UOG Chancellor Professor Joseph Sukianom says this is to ensure that teachers are competent in delivering science subjects at any high school, secondary or technical schools. The University Council are in talks with other provincial governments to decentralize higher education to provinces and fulfill the national government's recent policy. The national government wants teacher training institutions to partner or merge with relevant authorities who are also providing education to provide quality education and teacher trainings.
That's a way to decentralize higher education to the provinces and let people own it. And Sir Peter's initiative is the way to move forward. And
Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipata says the signing of the agreement is timely because the provincial government and the people of Enga want to see Enga in the long run become the education and health hub of the country. The EPG will continue to invest in education to develop human resources and help the nation achieve quality education and help improve people's living standards.
Partnering with established, recognized university is the right thing to do. And I want to thank the University of Goroka, the council and the management at the University of Goroka for actually delivering this, our call.
Sir Peter says they need to have proper dialogue with the national government because the national government's call for an education institution such as UOG to train teachers is being answered through the partnership.
There are many things to do to achieve quality. One of them is to get properly trained teachers.
UOG has grown out of being an education institution to offering other disciplines in humanities, science, and are also in talks to establish a medical school, teaching hospital, schools of science and technology, agriculture, and many more.
So that will free us space for us to mount a program on research, which is very important, as well as postgraduate programs for teachers at a postgraduate level so that become competent headmasters. And
Vasinata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
And that report ends National MTV News this Monday, the 18th of November 2019. On behalf of the news team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.